What's up, y'all? This your boy, Pastor Bobby. Thank y'all so much for tuning in tonight for our Momentum Men's Talk Monday. What I want you guys to do tonight, that's going to be watching, that's going to be online tonight. I have my brother, my friend here tonight that's going to share with us about single life, about marriage and divorce, all of that good stuff tonight, but coming from a man's perspective. But not only that, I want to drop the nugget tonight that um this is all being done led up to our Momentum Men's Conference that's going to be happening at the end of this month, and we're excited about it. What God is going to do. I think it's June 21st through the 23rd. That Friday night, we're going to have an awesome time of worship with our men. Not only that, we're going to have Saturday class sessions that's talking about the emotional health of men. We're going to be talking about just different things, how to repair those trauma experience that men go through in their life. And we was always taught as men to hold our emotions in and all of that stuff. But this conference is going to be geared to really restoring and repairing and getting men back rooted with God, while striving and moving forward with God. And so tonight, I want you to share this. I want you to get your friends on and all of that good stuff because somebody might need to hear um about this topic tonight. But not only that, those single men, those men that have been divorced, those men that even struggle with marital issues or whatever, this is an opportunity for you to come in tonight and hear a strong voice in our nation, in our community, been through hell and back, and still made it out all right. And there's still life after a breakup. There's life after divorce. There's life after a bad relationship. And we're going to learn some stuff tonight. We're going to learn some stuff tonight. And so, those of you that are watching, I want you to share this. Go ahead and type in the chat where you're from, who's online. I need to see where you guys from. Share this with somebody that might needs to hear this message. Some man, some woman as well. It might be some single ladies that want to kind of get a eavesdrop in on this conversation, to really get a perspective of a man's heart and a man's way they deal with relationships and what they look for in a woman, a Christian woman. This is a Christian live tonight, so I want you guys to just be ready and open for it. Again, like and share this live so somebody might see this tonight. We had a couple of people that were supposed to be on tonight, but due to previous schedules, they had to do other things. But we do have one of my best friends that's going to come on tonight. And so please make sure you liking and you sharing this. I'm going to introduce you to one of my homeboys. He hails in Atlanta, Georgia. He is a principal, an educator, a teacher, a preacher, all of that good stuff as well. And I want you guys to welcome to the Men Talk Mondays, Chris Marshall. Chris Marshall, what's up, man? How you doing?
I'm good, bless you, man. How are you doing?
I'm doing good, man. I hope all is well, man. And
Yes,
again,
sir.
tonight, we just want to be open. We just want to be real.
Oh
Uh,
yeah,
I know your story. We talked about it. We worked through a lot of things through your story and all of that. And tonight, I just want you to share your story on singleness, life after divorce, and not only that, and how do you move forward? How do you go forward in this new life that you have? Because a lot of men out there struggle with this. You know what I'm saying? But you would seem to be able to take charge and move through it or whatnot. And so I'm just going to open the floor. And I'm going to kind of ask a couple of questions. First, man, just tell us something about yourself, and how did you even become a Christian? What led you to become a Christian? Because people just want to know, or just to start a conversation open.
Okay, Pastor Bobby, thank you so much for having me. So, for me, what led to me being a Christian? My story is a little bit different from a lot of other people. It's maybe somewhat similar to some of our brothers and sisters that also grew up in church. So, for me, I grew up in church. I was a church kid. But some people might say it, they might not admit to it, but I was a church kid, but I wasn't quite saved, if that makes sense.
Yes,
I
sir.
was not quite saved. I had the look, had on the dress shoes, every Sunday had the pants, had that crease in them. Uh, had to make sure you brush your teeth, brush your hair, all of that good stuff. You had to, we had the look. I sang in the youth choir. I was at the youth conference. I was also a musician, so I knew the gospel music. But again, I was not quite saved.
Mm.
And to be honest with you, my brother, you probably know this. You probably heard this story, man. I was bad. I wasn't disrespectful bad, but I was bad. I didn't listen. I was hard headed. And one time I got in some serious trouble at school. I think I did something like was forging my mom's name. So back in the day, when you got your work completed and your teacher graded your paper, you had to send it home to get it signed. Your parent
Mm.
had to sign the name on it. And
Right.
so I think I was forging my mom's name. And I think I got away with it for a long time until that parent teacher conference came around. My mom showed up and I think the teacher might have been, I'm not gonna call the teacher's name. Nevertheless, I got busted. And,
Hmm.
you know, she gave me that look. And I think she kind of warned me one more time. She gave me that warning. That look when your mom is looking at you.
Hmm.
So she gave me that warning. I took heed to it at first, but I think I had got in trouble again. I got in
Hmm.
trouble again, Pastor Hampton, and she was literally, I knew it. She was going to kill me. And so again, my story is a little bit different. It's not as traditional as everyone else's. Um, I didn't have that Damascus Road experience, where it got leveled to the ground.
Hmm.
But she literally, I think she might have said she's going to kill me. Bless her heart.
Right.
But nevertheless, I was so scared. And I was like, okay, something started clicking in me. I started thinking, I said to myself, you got to start getting this thing together.
Mm.
Uh, I started having a real conviction of who I was. My character was being tested when I didn't even know what character was. And
Mm.
so I went down one Sunday and I asked the Lord to save me. And so my salvation was twofold.
Hmm.
Okay. My salvation was twofold in that when I asked the Lord to save me, it was first save me from my mama. Number one. Number two, it was, save me for real. Lord, I need help. There's something that you have that I don't have. There's something that I can't do on my own. And I think that is when I gave my life to the Lord for real, for real. And I just really allowed the Lord to begin to speak. And before I wasn't really listening. Now I was like, after I got saved, I was like, okay, I would ask questions. I would talk to the Lord, and I would hear the Lord clearly talking back to me. And so for me, that's how I became a Christian. It was again kind of twofold. It was like salvation with God, and I need you to save me from my mama.
Right.
So that was my story. That's my
Man,
story.
man, that's good, man, because a lot of men, man, they sometimes don't like to share their story, like say
Yeah.
their conversion story or whatever, because a lot of times we hold a lot of stuff in. But tonight, man, I just wanted to kind of share that with people. But tonight is it's all about um, men in relationships, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Singles, You are now single, single man, and everything, and you experiencing life after divorce.
Yeah. Yeah.
Not only that, you went through some woes in your marriage,
Hmm.
or whatnot, some aha like moments in your marriage, and so, um, like tell us a little bit about, you know what I'm saying, your story. And let's start with the marriage part, and then how it got you to the divorce part, and
Hmm.
then what steps are you taking now, going forward. Let's just start there.
So yes, I was married for 15 years. I was in a marriage in a blended family, and so um, in blended family structures, there's a different type of challenge that comes with it. Um, and so I was married for 15 years in a blended family. We endured a lot of ups and downs. Um, and unfortunately it ended, um, because we simply in a lot of ways we kind of grew apart.
Mm,
In a lot of ways it kind of grew apart. um, our desires and our needs changed,
mm,
um, and somewhere along the course of the marriage we did not have our thumb on that, we didn't have a pulse on that. And um, as a man, we tend to put the weight of what happened on our shoulders. Oftentimes when it doesn't go right, we're always, a lot of times, we're self-reflective. And for me, I bear the weight of that for a while.
mm,
Because as a man, you think, you come home, you have your family, you have your wife, you have your home, you have your kids, your career, all of that. And um, for a man, the average man, that family plays a major part of their purpose.
yeah.
That marriage plays a major part of their purpose. And so, uh, yep, we went through, again, some ups and downs. We grew apart in a lot of ways.
Hmm.
And again, for me, one of the things that I still wrestle with from time to time is not, how did I always ask myself, how did I let it get away from me? Oftentimes we don't see it while we're in it,
Right.
but now that the marriage has ended, I sometimes ask myself, how did I allow it to get away from me
Mm,
like that? So that's that kind of that burden, that weight, that I still bear from time to time.
mhm,
But after marriage, my goal is, when the Lord blesses me and gives me an opportunity to, invite somebody else new in my life, that is one area that I want to make sure that I again keep the pulse on.
mhm,
Whether it's retreats, check-ins, different things. Whether we go to counseling, scheduled maybe once a year, just to press the reset button. But
mhm.
again, keeping the pulse on what's going on in the life of your spouse and the life of your children, so that we can keep things together,
Right.
um, and God can be glorified in all of it.
Right. Man, that's amazing, man. And share something about the blended family part. Share some about the blended family. What dynamics? How did that take a toll on your marriage?
Yes, for me, when it came down to the blended family piece, um, it took a toll on our marriage because we did not see eye to eye as it relates to how we would manage the the unnatural child in my case.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so, that again, and my recommendation to all, gentlemen, my brothers who are in a blended marriage, make sure that you and your spouse are on one accord as it relates to, uh, not just that child, but all of your children.
Right.
Um, you know, we use the word equity in education, but in the family, equity is important as well.
Right.
So making sure that you all are in agreement, number one, making sure that you all in agreement about what you all want, um, for that child and all of your children, you know. And for me, anyone who might be dating someone that you're considering marrying,
Mm.
and you might be considering getting involved into a blended marriage like that, uh, I would make sure that you've had that conversation. Make sure that you all are in agreement as it relates to how you want to manage that child, whether it's, you know, the expectations centered around discipline, um, academics, you know, just even sometimes the social interactions. So making sure that you and your spouse, or you and the person that you're considering marrying, on the same page as it
Right.
relates to how you're going to manage the children
Right.
inside of the relationship.
Man, that's good, man. And it's amazing just to watch your journey through that, man. And I feel like I've been kind of a friend enough to walk beside you at times, you know what I'm saying, of low moments and high
Yeah,
moments, seeing
yeah,
the highs and lows of your life or whatnot, and how you persevered through it, despite of what you've been through and all of that good stuff. And how did it come to divorce? Like how did it come to that?
as I shared earlier, for me, the biggest part that I believe that allowed it to come to divorce was we grew apart. We grew apart, and again, as I shared earlier, I really feel like I bear the burden of that responsibility, because as the shepherd of the home, as the spiritual leader of the home, um, there were some things that I did not, again, keep the pulse on.
Right.
um, I really think we grew apart. There were some things in regarding the marriage, whether it was the blended piece.
Hmm.
Some of it was, you know, family structure. Some of it was, um, you know, do we agree with things on? Are we on the same page financially? You know,
Right.
do we have the same vision for our money?
Hmm.
That's a major piece as well.
Right.
So um, making sure again, uh, well, let me back up. I think we got to this particular position because we did not keep a pulse on not only the needs of my spouse, but also my needs as well.
Gotcha.
And making sure that we were on the same page, making sure that we were walking in agreement, spiritually, physically, emotionally, financially. And
Yeah.
so I think over time, with the natural things that we are combated with in a relationship, and that's just anybody who's in a relationship,
Hmm.
in a company with not being on the same page.
Right.
I think that's how we kind of got to the position that we were in.
Got you, man. That's good stuff. And let's shift from there, because there is an upside to
Yeah,
it. You
yeah,
know, sometimes we talk about the downside to it, and there is an upside to it. And so, I got a question for you, man. Now that you went through marriage and
hmm
you went through the ups and downs of that, and then come to divorce, like, and now you're at a moment where you focusing on yourself
yeah,
or whatever. And so, and you already said you want to someday take that step again or give that
absolutely,
another shot. You didn't give up on marriage.
right,
It was
right.
it was that situation or whatever. So now that you went through all of that, man, here's a question I want to ask you. As a single man now, what do you look for in a Christian woman? What do you look for in a Christian woman?
Yeah, yeah. So, number one, I think the most important piece behind what I'm looking for, excuse me, in a woman, is that she, number one, loves God.
Mm.
If she does not love God, or if she does not love God the way she needs to love Him in a healthy way, she would never be able to love me
Mm.
the way I
Say
need
that
to be.
again. Say that again one more time, because somebody might need to hear that one more
Yeah,
time.
if she has to love God, and love God enough for God to be number one in her life.
Mm-hmm.
There has to be a conviction. There has to be a established relationship between her and God, because it's through her relationship with God that she'll learn. If she doesn't already know, she'll learn
Mm-hmm.
and be willing to love me.
Right.
Yeah. So
Right.
that's number one. Uh, I think when youth ministry, we always stress the vertical relationship,
Mm-hmm.
then the horizontal relationship. You get this part right with God, then these relationships can be absolutely healthy.
Right.
Um, Number two uh, is that she loves herself.
Right.
Okay. Um, Even the word somewhere talks about loving your neighbor as yourself.
Yeah.
If you're loving yourself and you have a healthy love for yourself, that healthy love for yourself translates to the relationships with the people that are closest to you.
Wow.
So for me, loving God, number one. Number two, loving yourself. Loving yourself to care about yourself, taking care physical care of yourself,
Yeah.
taking spiritual care of yourself,
Right.
going before God, knowing when you're in a moment where, you know what, I need to put something else to the side. I need to go ahead and go to God. I need to talk to God for a little bit, for a little while. I need to commune with God at this particular time. Um, I need to go work out, all of that. So not only the spiritual piece, but also the physical piece. Um,
Right.
I want a woman who was also interdependent. Okay. It's funny you ask these questions, Pastor Hampton, because I've been toiling over these, and I've been actually talking to God about these um, recently, a lot recently. I want a
Mm-hmm.
woman who's interdependent. I want a woman who knows how to exist on her own, but also um, even outside of her own identity, I want her to have an interdependence on me as well,
Right.
knowing that she can stand on her own, but then there's a need, there's a way that I can bless her that she may not be able to bless herself.
Right.
There's a need that I have to meet for her, and
Let,
so
let, let me let me stop you right there, because that was real good. What you're saying, because um it seems as though, nowadays we live in this society. You hear a lot of women say this, that they are independent, and I'm the independent
uh,
woman, and I can do bad all by myself,
mhm,
and all of this stuff. And here you are, a man with passion, with purpose, with goals, really want to, someone to walk with him that's very successful in their profession,
yeah,
and all of that stuff. And you're saying, I want a woman that's independent, but still depending on
yeah.
her man. And then you said something too. You said you want a woman that loves herself. Let me ask you this: can men tell if a woman don't love themselves?
Whew. I do not want to step on no high heel pumps tonight. Uh, yeah,
We
we
can
can,
tell.
we can, we can, we can tell who takes care of themselves. And I'm not talking about the flashy stuff, but we can tell who takes care of themselves. Um, Women can tell when a man is not taking care of himself.
Hmm.
You know, uh, those dirty fingernails,
Hmm.
not grooming ourselves. And again, and it's not just the physical stuff,
Hmm.
um, but also the spiritual stuff as well. Yes, we can tell in a lot of ways when a woman takes care of herself. Sometimes, I'll be honest, I've seen women who take care of themselves better physically than they do spiritually.
Woo. Let that,
Mhm.
let's let that sink in real quick.
Okay, how much time you need? Uh,
Let's say that again. Say that again. Say that again. One
I've
more time.
seen women who take care of themselves more physically than they do spiritually. And I've seen it vice versa.
Mm,
I've seen women who are super deep spiritual, but they don't take care of themselves physically.
right,
And
right,
so, for me, when I say loving yourself, it's not just one or the other; it's both.
right.
Because for me, I'm not marrying just somebody who's spiritual. I want to marry somebody who's healthy. I want
Mm-hmm.
to marry someone um, who is uh, who is put together. Not perfect, because none of us are perfect, but yeah, I think we can tell when a woman does not love herself. Sometimes it comes out in their attitude.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it come out in several ways: in attitude, in the way they carry themselves, um, how they interact with people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think, yeah, men can tell when a woman does not take care of herself, and vice versa. Women can
Yeah,
tell the same thing,
yeah.
with us.
Yeah, that's good, man. And you said so much in that one thing. And how do you know? Like, how do men? And I know you're not speaking for all men. You're just speaking for yourself. But how do you know um when it's the one? You know what I'm saying? How do you know when it's the one? And maybe I can chime in on that as being a married man.
Yeah.
I knew my wife was the one, and I think I told my congregation this. I knew my wife was the one when I can give her $50 and she flip it and come back with 200.
200. There it is. There it is. That's a multiplication spirit. That's
Yeah,
what I'm talking about. That's the anointing for
they can
multiplication. Yeah.
multiply,
Yes.
but it's not about that. It was other things too. I knew that I personally wanted someone that um, would take care of family. It could
Hmm.
really foster a home or whatnot. I knew I was a minister and a pastor or whatnot, but I needed someone, and I would be gone, and my time would be with the church a lot. But I
Hmm.
needed someone to be able to foster that home relationship or whatever. But you, as a single man, how do you know that person is the one?
Um, it's kind of hard for me to say that because I haven't found that one yet,
Gotcha.
right?
Yeah.
But I will say there are some things that I look for.
Mm-hmm.
Um, for me, I look at attitude.
Mm-hmm.
I watch how females interact with other females. I watch how they interact with people. Um, so I look at that. I look at how they treat other people.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, whether this person might be well known versus somebody who might be considered a nobody or not known. I
Right.
watch it. I look at how females treat people. I look at how they interact with people. I look at how they carry themselves. Um, I'm looking at a woman's confidence,
Mhm.
her ability to communicate well. Um, Another thing I look for is someone who is intellectual as well.
Mm.
I need her to be smarter than me. She may not have as much wisdom in certain areas that I've had
Yeah,
because of my experiences, but I need her to be smarter than me.
right.
Um, I want to see. For me, I want to see a woman bask in her femininity.
Yeah.
I want to see. I look for a woman not perfect, but
Mhm.
a woman that has a certain level of grace about herself.
Mhm.
Um, and for me, there's one thing I left this part out. I need her to be fly too. I'm
Now
sorry. I need
let's
her to
talk
be
about
fly.
that. Let's
Need her
talk
to be
about
fly.
that. Let's shift a little bit because a
Hmm.
lot of times, we saying a lot of good stuff. You saying a lot of good things, but let's get to the nitty gritty of the
Yeah.
matter of the matter. Is
Hmm.
that as a man, we say, yeah, we want the Christian woman.
Yeah.
But is it do you need a little hood, a little thuggery in in her to be able to when it's time to get down with the get down. She ready. Is that something you're looking for as well, or not just you, but let's speak for some men, you know?
Yeah. You know, of course, I want a woman who can hold her own. So yeah, just a little thug in there, but I don't need to have to pull her off of nobody. So uh, I don't need, you know, I can't, you know, I don't want to have to go bail her out of nowhere, you know. So I just need her enough to be able to hold her own. That's number one. Um, but yeah, I want her to be fly though. And when I say fly, you know, uh, a good, in my opinion, a good woman who is fly, she can shop at Nordstrom and Old Navy. You know what I mean? She can shop at Neiman Marcus, Nordstrom, Old Navy, and or even go over to Target and kind of work that thing. You see what I mean? So for me, it's not so much about money, but she knows how to just be fly. I want a woman that when she walks in the room, everybody looks around and be like, "Oh, how he get her? What he doing with her?" That's you know, yeah. I just wanted to be fly. You know, of course I love the long, beautiful dresses. You know, for church. But when we go out on date night,
Be fly.
I need you to put something on fitting.
I
I need to be like Reverend Leon Lonnie Love from Martin. You know,
but that Chris,
yeah.
man, that's true, man, because as a Christian man, you know, a lot of people think that Christian man they got to have on a cry robe, doc. They got to
Mm-mm.
speak in tongue.
Mm-mm.
And you a minister as well, you know what I'm saying? And y'all, and those that are watching, y'all are hearing this. It's like it ain't all about, you know, how saved you are,
Mm-hmm.
because
Yeah.
as a man, you know, you still want to come home and have a life, just a
Yeah.
regular conversation or
Yeah.
whatever. And so that balance have to happen as well, man.
And one more thing, Pastor Bobby. Uh, it, I don't mean this in any. Well, I kind of do, but I need a woman that know how to lay hands.
Mm-hmm. See, hey, listen, y'all. Listen, Chris is he ain't Baptist, y'all. He ain't
Nah,
Baptist.
nah.
We had this argument all the time about
Since we known each other, yeah.
yeah, we
Uh-huh.
since we known each other about it or whatnot, but he ain't all the way Baptist, you know, because Baptist we saved, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
we
yeah.
we
That
we
ain't. Yeah,
saved.
I ain't there yet.
He ain't there yet, y'all. So let me be honest, he's making it real churchy
Yeah, yeah,
tonight,
yeah.
real godly tonight. But at the same
But
time, I know him. Yeah.
when I say lay hands, I'm not just physically, but also like spiritually. I want a woman, you know, that know how to pray.
Yeah.
A woman that knows how to pray. A woman that when that is praying for me when I walk out the door. A woman that
Somebody in the comment said this, Doc. They said, what kind of hands? Ali hands
no
or
no no no
praying hands?
praying praying, not Ali. No 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 no
Uh-huh.
no. Mm-mm,
But
mm-mm.
go ahead, man. I'm sorry.
But but yeah, but someone that knows how to pray, keep me covered. You know,
Yeah.
um, good women. Not only a good man takes the time to understand what his wife is going through
Mm-hmm.
and the needs and meeting the needs of his spouse, but
Mm-hmm.
a good woman also knows the things that we are up against sometimes when we don't even tell them, because a lot of times we try to shield them from stuff,
Right.
um, and we try to manage things on our own. But a good woman knows how to pray for her husband, that God leads them and that God guides them. Because if we're leading our homes, we want to, you know, that woman wants to know that we are being led by God, you
Right.
know, in every way. And
Mm-hmm.
so just again, someone who knows how to lay hands, someone who can spiritually intercede for me, uh, as a pastor, as a preacher, as an educator, as a leader in whatever area that we all as men go in.
Right. Right. And that's important, man. Prayer is very, very important, even in the looking stages. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
yeah.
Being prayerful about that. And so let's talk a little bit about that. Like when it comes to, and as you said, you want to be married again. You are actively somewhat looking as friendships or whatever.
Mhm.
But what steps like are you taking to prepare yourself for the next? Like what do you know now that you say this is what I'm not dealing with or what I'm not taking into my next?
So before I get there, the one thing that I will say that is preparing me is I'm staying before the Lord. And
Mm,
when I say that, I am allowing and I'm asking daily for God to continue my healing.
mm-hmm,
Um, I don't know, and as I do the research, as I seek God, and as I seek wise counsel from others, I don't know. Like when we heal, when our bodies physically heal, I think even with our best intentions, oftentimes it's hard to get rid of scars.
mm,
And I don't know if, and it may take more time. Maybe I'm not there yet, but
mm-hmm,
I'm not certain. And again, as I'm on this journey, that healing is like snap of a finger, it's 100% done. And as you move on to your next relationship, you don't ever have to worry about things that have happened to you before, or it doesn't cross your mind, or you don't have a relapse or triggers.
right.
Um, but um, I believe this whole journey of healing is exactly what I just said. It's a journey. And so
Mhm.
it's step by step. I'm asking the Lord to heal me each day. So that's number one. And it's also number one because I want to make sure that whoever the Lord opens the door for me to be my next wife, that she does not have to suffer for any former experiences. I don't want to take that into,
Yes, stop right there
yeah,
because let's jump in there for a second because a lot of times you will find people jumping into a relationship too
yeah,
quickly, and that next person that had no issues, they're healed, they come with a pure heart, pure intentions, and everything of that nature, but then that other person wasn't all the way healed,
yeah,
so it becomes what is called a rebound
yeah,
person, right? And so now they have to suffer the consequence of something that you didn't get healed
hmm,
from before they got together.
right,
So
absolutely.
how important it is for a person to go through that healing process in between relationship. And this is just not with marriage. This is just with you just
In
dating
general,
somebody.
yeah,
You just
yeah,
with somebody.
yeah. I had to be intentional in slowing down.
Mm,
Had to be intentional about it. There were opportunities, and there's still opportunities that exist out there for me to, engage with someone or get into a relationship. But I had to be intentional about slowing down, be intentional about making sure that what I was engaging in was for the right reason. Because at the end of the day, I really want the Lord to bless it,
mhm,
and I want his blessing on it. And so I was intentional about slowing down, intentional about taking my time, intentional about staying for the Lord, and going on the daily healing journey.
mhm,
Shoot, sometimes it's an hourly, depending on what crosses your path and what crosses your mind throughout the course of a day.
mhm.
So for me, it was simply taking my time, not rushing into anything. Um, and there's pressure out there from females, and my thought on it is, and I say it like this. Here's what I tell my son, my 13-year-old: be friends first.
Mm,
Work on your friendship first.
mm,
Um, when you get the friendship piece right, man, that thing is like smooth sailing.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
you get the friendship piece right, focus on that. Anybody who's a female in my life right now who cannot understand that, I'm not the one for them.
Wow.
And this goes back to that what I will not do and what I've learned from it.
Mm-hmm.
Focus on the friendship.
Right.
Focus on the friendship. And if you can find two people who honor each other in the friendship, who respect each other in the friendship, who understand healthy boundaries within the friendship, um, that's something that I believe that God can, and that are on the same accord, that are equally yoked.
Mm-hmm.
Because what you can do is jump into something, your hormones, your flesh jump all up in there, and now you find yourself in a whirlwind, and you find yourself, because you weren't totally healed and you weren't heeding the voice of God, you can find yourself involved in a cycle.
Right.
I think in aviation they call it a holding, not quite a holding pattern, but you find yourself in the same, going around in the same circle, looking for some of the same stuff that you don't ask the Lord to deliver you from.
Wow.
And so for me, um, some of the things that I've just been looking for is, someone that I can develop a healthy friendship with healthy boundaries, someone who we sync, we have the same passions, and even if our passions are not totally the same, that's okay too, because God makes us diverse.
Right.
Where I'm strong at, she might be weak at. Where I'm weak at, she might be strong at.
Mm-hmm.
And so being able to find someone who we work well together.
Mm-hmm.
Again, those tenets of friendship for me are the most important piece right now. And of course, again, her being spiritual, and I don't mean deep.
Yeah.
I just mean I need her to have some kind of relationship with the Lord. Because there's as a man, here's the thing: when it comes down to our wives, when we have a relationship with God, there's a level of conviction that won't allow us to do certain things.
Right. Right.
There's a level of conviction that'll say, instead of me buying these Jordans, hey, your kids need braces.
Right.
And even though that's kind of superficial, but there's a level of conviction there. And
Right.
that's why I keep going back to the relationship with God.
Right.
Because the same way there should be a level of conviction for me, I need my spouse to have one as well.
Right.
Because there's some things, there's some decisions that we make in life. We really need to have the conviction of the Spirit, the Holy Spirit, to lead us and guide us. And
Wow.
so I want a healthy marriage where God is the center. And I don't mean that in any deep, like super spooky way. I know you think I'm apostolic. I am a little bit.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I want our home to be, God to be the center of our home.
Right.
And I want to develop and create a healthy environment for me and my family. And I believe a lot of that starts with who our convictions lie with, our
Right.
relationship with God.
And you said something there on it when you're talking about you want them to love God but not too deep or whatnot. What are your thoughts on person that you're dating still going out to the club, still doing what they do? Because I want you to, when you say boundaries and stuff, what are those? What are those? Are can they still go out and do what they always did? They love the Lord. They come to church. They got a prayer life, but they like to party too. They like to still kind of do. What are your thoughts on that? And speak generally from a man standpoint if he's looking for a wife.
Uh, I don't know. And I'm not trying to be too deep, but I don't know. I would wonder, what are you looking for in the club?
Mm, right.
that for me, if I was to date a girl who liked to go to the club, I don't think there's anything wrong for her, going out, hanging out with her girlfriends, whatnot. But what is it that you're looking for in the club that you gotta find it there?
Mm.
And for me, that's just not something I'm interested in. I'm not interested in engaging with anybody who wants to club.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just not. And again, I'm not going to be judgmental. If that's what works for you, that's what works for you. But it just doesn't work for me, because for me, as a grown man in the club, it's too much. What's the word I'm looking for? It's right on the tip of my tongue. It's too much temptation.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that's not wise. I wouldn't put myself in that situation.
Right.
Again, this goes back to being equally yoked and you having the same values that a person has.
Mm-hmm.
If you have somebody who desires to be in the club and that's their value and it doesn't agree with yours, that's something I would heed all men or even women, same thing if she was on the other foot. And so for me, that's a boundary for me that's not something I'm willing to engage in.
Right.
Girls trips, I think I think that depends on who you're going with.
Mm-hmm.
The company that you keep. There's I know some
So
females
wait. Let me pause you there. So you telling me that the company you keep matters?
Absolutely.
It's like,
Absolutely.
and with men, it don't matter how fine you are,
Mm-hmm.
how spiritual you are, how much money you got in the bank. If the company you keep
Mm-hmm.
ain't right, it tells a man a lot of things, right? It tells a
Yeah.
man that
Yeah.
birds of feather flock together,
Right.
or whatever. So talk about the company that you keep.
Yeah. For me, again, I'm probably gonna step on some red bottoms tonight. For those of y'all that got them, or maybe yours from Payless. I don't know. But my point, um, for me, when I watch your girlfriends, that tells me a lot about you.
Mm.
Um, if you are, and granted, sometimes you're mentoring people, right? So I get that. Sometimes a female can mentor another female. Sometimes a female could be a big sister. Uh, but the company you keep says a whole lot about you. If you have friends who lack character,
Mm-hmm.
if you have friends who have bad judgment,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, that's a challenge for me. And oftentimes I look at that. I don't just look at who you are, but I'm also looking at who you have around you. I'm looking at who those people in your circle. I'm looking at how they influence you. Do you act a certain way around them and you don't around me?
Right.
Um, what are their values? What are their morals? And again, I I don't want to overemphasize or make it seem like I'm referring to or that I'm just talking about bad versus good, but the values and the morals piece plays a major role in your ability to commune with each other and your ability to be in the state of agreement with the person. And so, yep, that company says a lot.
Yeah.
Because you want to be able to trust. We love our spouses, we love our girlfriends and whatnot, but you want to be able to trust. And some females will say, "Well, why are you with me if you don't trust me?" I can hear that. I hear you in the background. Uh, sometimes it's not that we don't trust you. Sometimes we don't trust your friends. So yeah, that's a major piece. And females should be able to say the same thing about their spouses or their boyfriends, girlfriends, whatever that is.
Yeah,
Uh,
we are equal opportunity here tonight.
yeah,
It
yeah,
goes both ways. All
yeah.
right. It
If
goes
you
both ways.
if you see the guy that you're, in a relationship with around some questionable guys,
Mm-hmm.
the question is, why do they want to be around them? What is it that they have in common? Again, equally yoked.
Mm-hmm.
And again, not the spiritual stuff. We're talking about, finances, life goals, short-term goals, long-term goals. What do they want their families to look like? Are they even interested in having a family? Uh, so yeah, those are some red flags for me. When I
Yes.
see a female who has questionable friends,
Right.
uh, yeah, so that's something that is a red flag for me.
That's good. That's good, man. And this is good talk tonight. Listen, those that are in the comments, I want you guys to ask the question tonight. Ask some questions. We got some men on here tonight. We want you to ask some questions. Here's one question that was asked: what if you are the witness to your girlfriends? I guess it's yeah,
Yeah,
to your
yeah.
girlfriend. But what in that situation, you trying to witness to them or whatever.
So if you're the witness to your girlfriends, then you should be the one who's leading them,
Mm-hmm.
not them leading you. We can't say, and let me not say we can't say. I, I I suggest or I recommend that if you are the witness to your girlfriends and your girlfriends want to go to the club and you don't, you should be leading them and serving as the example
Mm-hmm.
of what, not so much churchiness looks like, but healthiness looks like. Um, be that mentor, be that example, be that model, be that role model for them, and you allow your light to shine in their lives instead of what what they want to do to shine in yours.
Right, right. What's up, John Austin is on tonight. Good to see you, man. Um, that's real good. And so, any other questions? If y'all got any question, please type them in the comments tonight. This is good talk. We got about 7 more minutes that we're going to be on tonight, and I'm telling you, it's an awesome experience tonight. My brother Christopher Marshall again, dropping wisdom, dropping knowledge. Guy that's been through the rough side of the mountain, and those of you that are single, I hope you are like taking some of this in and really dealing with it. And Chris, man, just tell us some things to watch for, man. What are some things if you gave advice to a single man right now? What should they look for?
Um, I think one of the things that I would say is, and this is not all inclusive. I would say one thing is check out the young lady's family. Okay. Now, I'm not suggesting that she's going to be just like her mom or just like her dad, but sometimes when you see the family structure of where she came from,
Mm-hmm.
um, it helps you make sense of some things as it relates to why she is who she is.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would say get to know her family.
Mm-hmm.
Um, that helps you understand a whole lot about her. Um, I would say focus on developing the friendship. Don't ignore any red flags.
Mm. What are some red flags?
It just depends on who you're dating. It
Yeah.
depends on who you're dating.
What are some of
Uh,
your red flags?
red flags would be um, how she communicates with you.
Mm.
Is she easily irritated?
Mm.
Uh, does she know how to talk to you in a respectful way?
Mm.
Men are real simple.
Right.
When I say they real, most men are real simple. They want to be respected. They want to be honored. They want to be appreciated, and they want to know that you value what they bring to the table. And
Right.
so for me, red flag is a woman who cannot see that.
Mm.
So some other red flags again would be looking at the company that they keep. Also, I would say watch their patterns. You
Mm.
know, I think the term is zebras don't change their stripes. I think it's something similar to that.
Mm-hmm.
Watch for the patterns.
Right.
Um, Most people have a challenging time changing their patterns of behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Um, be honest with what you're willing to accept and what you're not. Don't go into a situation think, okay, I can kind of change her,
Yeah.
or females that I can kind of change him. Don't go into that. You know, when people show you who they are,
Right.
believe it.
Right.
So again, those are some of those red flags. Watch your patterns of behavior.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I would say tell the Lord what you want. Tell the Lord what you want, and you know, and I'm not being deep. I'm just saying, tell the Lord what you want. What is really important to you?
Mm-hmm.
Um, what is really important to you? Um, as a man, another thing I would say is know where you're going.
Right.
Know where God is leading you as it relates to the vision for your life. Because
Mm-hmm.
if you are looking to get married or looking to bring someone alongside of you,
Mm-hmm.
you want to make sure that that person that you bring alongside of you matches where you're going.
Right. That's
Okay,
good.
so yeah, those are some of the things I would say. Seek wise counsel.
Right.
Uh, Young ladies, don't go get advice from your single girlfriends who have no evidence that they know how to function in a healthy relationship. If they don't have no fruit, don't let don't let these women tell you what you should do. Don't do that.
Sure.
And gentlemen, the same thing. So again, I'm just sharing with you. Uh, be mindful of your homeboys,
Right.
especially those that don't have that are not healthy,
Right.
and that have not had successful relationships.
Right.
You know, heed the wisdom of folks that have fruit. There
Right.
has to be some evidence of fruit in their lives. And
Mm.
again, I'm not talking about perfect shiny fruit. You know, sometimes fruit got a little dent in it. It has a little, some little bruises in it, but it's still sweet to the core. And
Right.
so, marriage, you want marriage and relationships. You know, oftentimes, sometimes people get hurt in relationships,
Mm-hmm.
and so again, for me, looking for or seeking advice or wisdom from those who have had fruit in their lives. They've
Wow.
done it. They've survived. They can say, they can steer you in the right direction. They can encourage you
Mhm.
not to give up on what you believe that God has blessed you with. And
Right.
so, again, seek wise counsel.
That's good,
Whether
man.
it's a therapist, whether it's your
Yeah.
pastor, or whether it's individuals that that have been married for years. Seek
Mhm.
wise counsel as it relates to um, how to have a healthy relationship.
That's good, man. And listen, I got one more question for tonight. This is a good question.
Okay.
This was text to me. Some people feel that once married, if you divorce and remarry is wrong. What what do you feel about that from a biblical perspective?
Okay.
We got the deep saints on tonight, Doc. What do you feel about that? Like to marry, get divorced, and what is it wrong or anything of that nature?
Genesis 2:18
Uh
from
huh.
the New International Version says, "The Lord God said, it is not good for man to be alone."
Uh huh.
From the New Living Translation, it says, "Then the Lord said, it is not good for man to be alone."
Uh huh.
From the King James Version, it says, "And the Lord God said it is not good that man should be alone. I
Uh-huh.
think if you go through all of those translations, you're going to kind of get the same
Same
understanding
thing.
and same
Uh-huh.
idea.
Uh-huh.
Uh, that's what I'm following after.
Right.
It is not good that Christopher Marshall be alone.
That's
Divorced,
good.
unmarried, you know, I don't plan on spending the rest of my life by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I believe I've already told the Lord what I want. She does not have to be perfect. I'm not expecting her to be perfect because I'm not perfect.
Right.
But I believe the Lord's going to bless me
Mm-hmm.
with somebody that's going to blow my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord's going to blow my mind. And
Yeah.
yeah. So that's my perspective. Whether
Yeah.
you have not engaged in a marriage relationship, or even if you are divorced, uh, don't give up on love. Of course, God is love, and for me, I believe, for me, I want someone that I can share all of my successes with, someone that I can walk this journey with, someone that can help me be better, someone that I can help be better. And so for me, um, if it's your heart desire, uh, go before God, tell him what you want, and have faith that God is in the right person your way.
That's what's up, man. I
Yeah.
appreciate that, Mr. Christopher Marshall. Thank you so much for your time tonight. This was an
Yes, sir.
amazing session.
Yes, sir.
Again, it was amazing. Um, Somebody put in here. Here's another scripture. They just giving out scriptures tonight. The word said two is better than
Better
one.
than one.
Yeah, two is better than one. So I appreciate your honesty, your transparency tonight. Listen, those of you that are on tonight, remember that especially for the men, we need you to register for the conference. We need you to register for the conference. Everybody on here, I need you to tag a man and register for the Momentum Men's Conference. You can go on our church website, and I'll put it up on the screen right now. Our church website to register for the conference. It's going to be powerful. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be life changing. So many different speakers will be there as well. So I think it's important that you go register. Here's our website. All right, go to our website now. Go under events and register for our men's conference. It's going to be awesome. God's going to do a powerful thing the weekend of June 21st through the 23rd. God's going to do some amazing things, but we want you a part. Those of you that's in Springfield, Decatur, Bloomington, Champaign, Peoria, Jacksonville, Quincy, St. Louis, uh, Taylorville, whoever, wherever, please go register for the conference. It's going to be life changing. It's going to be off the chain. Listen, that's our time for the night. I hope you enjoyed tonight. Meet us back again next week for Man Talk Mondays. I'm telling you, it's going to bless you. We'll have some more guests on next week. It's going to be a surprise. So please make sure you're on next week. Holla at you.